welcome back to our channel. It is literally morning.
It's morning.
We apologize. He looks fine. I look ridiculous. It took us like a half an hour to find a place in the house where you could see us. Lighting, yeah. So don't mind the background, it's all of it. But we are wearing our Mickey clothes today.
Yay.
We wanted to get this filmed now instead of waiting for our ideal time because we leave on Wednesday for Disney World.
Oh.
So exciting. So there won't be any videos for a couple of days. And today's video is our ranking of the Disney resorts
That we've stayed at, and then the ones where we have just visited.
Yes.
Like kind of two separate lists.
Yeah, so we've got 7 resorts that we have stayed at. We've been on 8 trips. We repeated 1 resort. So we're going to rank the 7 resorts that we've stayed at, each of us individually. We haven't talked about this ahead of time, in the order that we preferred them. And then we each picked 3 of the resorts that we have not stayed at that are like our top 3 picks to go and visit.
Yeah, whatever.
And the reason we say the ones we didn't stay at is because there could be overlap with like one of the ones we stayed at maybe also being our favorite, but we'll already have talked about it. Does that make any sense at all? Probably not. We probably sound like babbling loons. But that's but that's the basics. So we're gonna rank the hotels or the resorts we've stayed at, and then we're gonna give our top 3 favorite additional resorts to go and visit, hang out at, chill at. So, all right, how do you want to do this?
I don't know. You want to start from
number 7?
Sure.
All right, you go first or me go first?
I don't care.
I'll go first.
Okay.
My number 7 is All Star Music. It's an all-star resort.
It's an all-star.
That's why it's number 7. We did not have a bad experience at All Star Music at all. In fact, we had a really good experience. We like stayed right around the corner from this street where they were playing Beauty and the Beast music every morning, which was cool.
I like that.
Yeah, there were lots of things we liked about it. I don't think we had any complaints.
No. And I like the All-Stars. I like the fact that they have a food court. Mm-hmm. And everything.
Yeah, good food courts.
And the shop and all that is centralized in one place. Yep. So I like that about them.
Yep. Honestly, the only reason it's down at the bottom of my list is because it's the All-Star Resort, and the other ones are nicer. So, what's your number 7?
My number 7 is Pop Century, because we did have a bad experience there.
Yep.
And we've talked about it before, but it was during a Pop Warner football thing at ESPN or whatever, and they were all over the place. We got stuck in the middle of them. Basically
in the center of a building that was all them.
Yeah. So
now, we should clarify that's our fault.
Yes. It's a little bit our fault.
A little bit. We hadn't gotten our check-in yet, and this was only our 2nd or 3rd trip maybe, our 3rd trip.
Yeah.
And we were used to getting in right away.
And this was past the
It was past 3 o'clock, yep. So we went to ask them if we were going to be able to get checked in, and they said they have you in a room in whatever, I think it was like the 50s building, so we didn't realize it would have been really close, on the 4th floor, which would have been great, but it's not ready yet, so it'll be a little while. And we kind of just said, well, aren't the rooms all the same? Like, could you get us somewhere else? And she said, well, we could put you in the 90s building on the 2nd floor, which was way further away, but we drove on that trip, so we were thinking, who cares?
Yeah.
So we took that to get in early, not realizing...
I wish they would have said, hey, we got a big group there.
Yeah. Or
something. But
so it was a combo of us and them problems, but yeah.
And then, so that, I didn't really get to enjoy the new room was nice. It was a refurbished room. Mm-hmm. So, but I didn't get to enjoy it as much as I would have because of the noise and the hecticness there. So that's why I put it last. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's a nice looking resort and all that. Mm-hmm.
I've got some more stuff to say about it that I'll say when I get to my ranking for it too. But yeah. Okay, number 6 for me is All-Star Movies. Again, All-Stars, they're on the bottom. But All-Star Movies got 6 over music because it was our very first trip on Disney property. So it has that, that awe when we first got there. And we were able to click our magic bands and not have to go to the front desk. And it was all very like, whoa, this resort. Plus, it's nice. They're nice. Like we just said, they're nice resorts. We had a good experience there. Yeah, it's just an all-star, so that's why it ended up.
And I picked movies for 6 for me.
Any particular reason, or just...
Well, should I say my 5? No, you just did 6, didn't you?
I did 6, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if you can't give your reason until you give 5, then you wait till you
5,
give
yeah.
5.
So 5 would be music. So I just put music because I liked our area better. Like she said, we had the kind of the Broadway look to it, whereas we just had a Mighty Duck thing at the movies.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it was.
So location won yours, nostalgia won mine.
Yep.
Yeah. But basically, they're the all-star resorts.
Yeah,
if you've never stayed
same.
on Disney property, and the all-star resorts are what you are able to afford, because they are very affordable.
Yeah.
When we first stayed, we paid less than $100 a night. I don't think that's the case ever anymore. But they're in the like 120 to 150 a night range, maybe. If that's what you need to do to be able to stay on Disney property, don't be scared away by people talking about value resorts or the all-stars, because
we like them.
they're fabulous.
We would stay there again.
Yeah, they're great. Okay, and then my number 5, since he did his number 5, is Pop Century. The reason it's higher for me is because I have a second trip. So I went there with my sister this past October, and we had a fantastic experience, which leveled it out for me.
Yeah.
So I'm glad we're going back in October and we're staying there.
And also, when we went, there was no Skyliner.
No.
And when you went back, now that's added to the...
Yeah, so we're going back to Disney in October, and we're staying at Pop Century, so I'm excited for him to get to have that experience.
Yeah.
So when I went with my sister, it was also her first time staying on Disney property, so we did all the things. We toured the whole place, all the outside, and the buildings are so cool, all the different years and everything, and the food court is really good. We ate at the food court once when we went on our not-so-great trip. Molly and I didn't get to eat in the food court because it was COVID and, relatively near to the beginning of it. So we picked up our food and brought it back to our room. But the food was decent. The shop is great. It's big. It's fun. I don't know. We stayed in one of the 50s buildings. So that made a huge difference because we were right there.
I'd say one of the positives now is the Skyliner is there, so you don't have to bus.
Yep.
And you can walk to Art of Animation if you like that food court and stuff.
Yeah, which we almost were going to do, Molly and I, but Art of Animation was closed due to COVID at the time, so we couldn't. But we saw how close it was. When you get off the Skyliner, it's right there.
Yeah.
Like you could just truck across the bridge. So yeah.
That's nice too.
So that's my number 5. Okay. Number 4 is Art of Animation.
That's what my number 4 is too.
I figured, since that's the last of the value, but I do this because only like 2 buildings are value. The Little Mermaid rooms are value. The others are, I would put more in the moderate category because they're family suites, and they're more in the 300-ish a night range. We've never stayed in those. We stayed in the Little Mermaid room, and I think we can both agree that the location of our room was the number 1 positive.
This was the best view and location of any of our rooms.
It was amazing. Yeah, even our deluxe resort rooms. This was the best room location. So we were in the building with Ursula on the front. And if you've never been there, this might not help, or you can pull up a map or something. But we were in the building with Ursula on the front, and we were on the 4th floor.
On the back side.
The back side of the building, almost all the way down. There was like one more room.
I think we were the last one.
Maybe we were the last one.
We were the corner. We didn't have anybody on that side of us.
That's right. We didn't. So we were the last room. And when we came out of our door, we were looking out to the lake. Is that called Hourglass Lake?
I think so.
I think. The Skyliners were not open at the time we were there, but they were testing them. So they were wrapped, so we couldn't see the cool designs on them, but we could see them going by. Now, with them running like normal, it would be just fantastic.
I mean, if we would have had a porch in that room, we would have been out there.
We would have been out there all the time. It was relatively quiet, again, because nobody above you and nobody to the side. There was people behind us because the building is double, so there was people, but that was attached to our bathroom wall, and we never heard the people on the other side. No. And yeah, everything about that was great. That was also the first time we ever did mousekeeping, where you have them come every day, and then we would just leave a little tip every day. But our housekeepers were our mousekeepers were
we
great.
also kept a Mickey and Minnie.
We kept a Mickey and Minnie in the room. So, like, one day they were sitting up on top of the bed together watching TV. One day they had the curtains drawn and they were sitting, like, Mickey was sitting with Minnie in front of him, like it would have been like you had his arms around her, like that kind of a sitting
in the window,
looking at the view. It was fun. They did some really cute things with them. Yeah, everything about this. We got an early check-in.
The food court there is really good.
The food court's amazing. And while we were waiting for the early check-in, we had something great to do. We got there very early, so we got there at like 12:30 and we got checked in at 2. But there's tons of stuff to look at.
Yeah.
It's the greatest themed
really
resort.
The Cars Land is very well themed. And then on our way to our building, we walked through the Lion King area every night, which was cool. Yeah.
It was perfect. So. It was a little bit of a trek. After a long day in the parks, it was a little bit of a trek back to our room. And
transportation, always at the values,
it's rough.
It's rough because there's a lot of people waiting for buses.
Yep.
And the buses are always packed.
You got to time it really right. You got to get down there early. And I will say...
That would help with COVID, with having to be separate now, but that's probably going to come to an end shortly.
Yeah, that does help right now. I will say 2 things that Molly and I noticed at Pop Century, which I assume would also apply for Art of Animation. Now, the buses for Molly and I were atrocious, but that was back when they were only seating like every 3 seats on the buses, so only like 6 people on it. They're not doing that anymore, so that wouldn't be an issue. But the Skyliner, if you aren't out there like probably an hour before it starts, you will wait in a very long line. Now, it moves pretty fast, but it will be a very long line. So if you have a reason you need to get into the parks at a certain time, like I have to be there for this reservation or this thing, you really want to plan for that. If you're going to take the Skyliner, get there very early. The other thing we learned about the Skyliner that I know this has nothing to do with resorts, but I feel like I just want to mention it since I'm thinking about it, is you can't Skyline to Epcot until like 10:30. Oh. Or at least we couldn't, Molly and I, when we were there. Maybe we should try to test that out on this trip to see if that's the case. I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, now to our top 3 of our 7 resorts. Now we are into the deluxe category.
Yep.
We've never stayed at a moderate, so.
And we've always done DVC rental points.
Yes, we've never paid for these out.
Full price for those. So.
Nope. And link in the description, like on all my Disney videos, to David's DVC. I think it's dvcrequest.com or something like that. It'll be in the description. Please check it out if you're interested in the deluxe resort.
Our first stay at Old Key West, we paid
$1,300.
Yeah, and that was like a couple $100 more than we paid at
for 7 nights.
Yeah, at an All-Star. Mm-hmm. And you're staying at a deluxe.
You couldn't get.
You have
2
to pay
nights.
You have to pay in advance.
Yeah, you have to pay in advance in full. And there are no refunds. So the only way to protect it is they do send you a link to a travel insurance website. We haven't done that yet, but you could get travel insurance to help protect you.
That's the downfall, but the upside is you get so much more.
It's insane.
For cheap.
It's insane. Cheaper. And we always stay in the studios, which is why ours are so expensive. But even the 1, 2, 3 bedrooms don't even compare to what you pay regular price for.
Why are they so inexpensive, you mean?
Inexpensive. Yeah, not expensive. Inexpensive. And obviously there's the caveat that if you don't book well in advance, you might not find anything.
What you want,
we looked for something on my birthday weekend a couple weeks ago. We looked for something for October, and there was no availability anywhere. So you have to know in advance.
Plan ahead. Yeah.
We've had the best luck when we've done it right on the 11-month mark. So 11 months is the earliest you can do it because the owners can book theirs 11 months out. But anyway, check out the website. All the information is there. It's so easy to use. They get back to you like quick this response, on weekends, weekdays. I can't say enough good things about them. They've just been fantastic. So, all right, that's who we've booked all these through. My number 3 is Saratoga Springs.
That's my number 3 too.
Is it? Okay. So, the room itself,
probably the best room.
Like as far as niceness, quality, or whatever, best room we've stayed in.
It was the most updated,
newly refurbished, beautiful, spotless, such a gorgeous room.
And we had a balcony that overlooked a little pond or lake, whatever.
And straight,
that was great.
There was trees a little bit obstructing, but not too bad. And straight through we could see the aero balloon from Disney Springs.
Yep. So that was nice.
It was such a nice room. It was the typical deluxe studio room. Beautiful. It's like horse and rider kind of decor. Yeah. They have the deluxe studio rooms. When you come in, they have like a bathroom space. So there's a separate door with the tub and shower and toilet. Then there's the open counter in the middle with the sink and a closet. And then around the corner, you've got your bed. And then you've got a couch and a table, which pulls down into like a Murphy bed or a Haida bed, depending on your resort. This was a Murphy bed. And then the TV across from that, and then the balcony. It was so nice.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah. And the resort itself was beautiful. We walked around a little bit because we did have to walk around the lake to get back and forth from our room to where the buses went.
Yep. It's big.
It's huge. So the one thing that wasn't as ridiculously convenient as we thought was Disney Springs.
Yeah.
It took us quite a trek to walk over there.
Yeah. I mean, you can do it.
You can do it. Yep, we did do it.
Yeah.
Well, we didn't walk there, I don't think.
But you can also, there's an internal bus that you can kind of, we took a bus to the closer stop.
Yep.
And then walked. So you can do that.
You can do that. There are plenty of options.
Yeah.
The store was very small.
Yeah.
And I encountered the only rude cast member I've ever encountered in all of my trips to Disney World at the Saratoga Springs store. Oh. And rude is a strong word. I don't know that we've ever really encountered a rude one. But just very...
Matter of fact.
Not friendly, matter of fact. Like, I felt like I was at Walmart.
Yeah.
Which, it was not a huge deal. It didn't ruin our day or anything, but it just... You notice it at Disney because that's not usually the case.
That's abnormal, yeah.
Yeah. And it was Christmassy time when we were there, so it was all pretty. The lobby is really pretty. It was COVID while we were there, so we couldn't eat in their little food court. Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. It looks like it would be really nice.
Yeah.
And we got some food from there the one night and brought it home. But
restaurant wasn't open, so
no, so we can't really speak to any of that.
Yeah.
Which is probably part of the reason it's 3. Or could be part of the reason, because we don't know about some of the other perks.
And that's another thing, the boats weren't running.
No.
So you could take a boat to Disney Springs, too, and we couldn't do that.
And those weren't running, yep.
That probably would have been better if we could have done that, too.
Yeah. Okay, so, because it's easier to talk about these together, I'm going to give my number 2, number 1. You give your number 2, number 1.
All right.
My number 2 is the Boardwalk. My number 1 is Old Key West.
And I flipped those.
So your number 2 is Old Key West, your number 1 is the Boardwalk. Okay. So let's talk about Old Key West first.
Okay.
Okay, Old Key West is the first deluxe resort we ever stayed in. The
we
rooms...
stayed there twice.
Yeah, twice, and the rooms are giant.
And that's the cheapest, Animal Kingdom Lodge, I think, but this is...
A tiny room at Animal Kingdom Lodge, though,
yeah. Points at.
Yeah, and this room is bigger than any other room.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Old Key West has the biggest rooms on property.
They were the first DVC place built.
They were built just
bigger.
Separate. Yeah, they were built to be basically like cottage type rooms. It's massive. It has 2 beds in it. We definitely have a room tour of this one. It has two big beds in it, and then it has a little like door out to your porch. There's no couch in these ones, at least not in the studio. There's a table and chairs. The bathroom is massive. The only thing I don't love quite as much about the bathroom is that the sink and counter and everything are in with the toilet and tub, so it's not as easy to get dressed at the same time, but we don't usually do that anyways. There's nice little kitchenette and everything.
And it's the only one that's not a rectangle.
Yeah.
You know?
No.
It's differently shaped.
It's differently shaped. We walked in and we were blown away.
Yeah.
By how huge it was. I also love the location of Old Key West. There's a good and a bad.
Yeah, that's big. It's big also. So.
It's big, but there's an internal bus.
Yep.
We learned that pretty well. We had that down, where we could take the internal bus to get. Also, what they do at Old Key West that they don't do at Saratoga Springs, or they didn't when we were there, is the bus always makes its first stop at the front and its last stop.
I don't know if it makes its first.
Yeah, doesn't it drop people off at the... Well, okay.
We were the first stop, so we got on first.
True, I could be wrong. But its last stop is always at the front, so you can pick a bus up anywhere else and know you're going to be able to go either up to the front or off to the parks. Yeah. So, yeah, that was nice. the location wise, the bad first, because that's not as bad, but it's not close to anything.
Right.
It's out in the boonies. When the boats are running, which they were on both of our trips.
Yeah.
Yep, on both of our trips.
So you can take a boat to Disney
Springs. You can take a boat
Springs.
to Disney Springs. It's about a 20-minute boat ride. It's gorgeous.
That's nice, yeah.
It's the way to go, in my opinion, unless you're in a hurry. So that's a little bit inconvenient, but the nice thing about that is it is quiet. That's the positive thing about the location.
You don't have anybody
so
just
quiet.
like if you're staying at the Grand or the Poly, you know, those ones on the monorail.
People are just coming in.
People just visiting, showing up. Mm-hmm. No one's just popping in here.
No. They either came specifically for Olivia's,
Yeah.
or they're staying there. It's just, it was quieter. It was just awesome. And Olivia's,
Yeah, the restaurant there is great.
yeah, that was like a gem, I think, that we found.
The only thing I don't care about food-wise is they only have like a grab and go for like your
Quick service.
quick service things.
Yeah, they don't have a good quick service option.
I mean, they have like 3 tables outside, but
Yeah.
nothing inside.
Yeah.
And if you want, we got chicken fingers or something.
And we ate them
We had to
outside.
take them back to the room.
Or we took them back to our room, yeah. So
That's
yeah,
the only
that's
downfall, I
that's a
think.
downfall. But the positive about Olivia's in that respect is, and again during non-COVID, because right now it's hard to get a reservation there, but normally it is not. You can get a last-second reservation there normally, and I would call them medium to maybe even a little bit on the low end price-wise. They remind me of like the Wave
Yeah.
prices. It's not an insanely priced restaurant, so if it needs to be your option instead of quick service, it's not like deciding between, deluxe burger or boathouse,
Yeah.
where you're gonna pay, $40 or whatever. It's not that big of a gap, and the food is so good. We have only had breakfast.
Yeah. But
Have we?
Us-
Or did we have lunch one time?
us picky eaters like it, as well as we've heard plenty of foodie people like
Yes.
it too. So.
They have fried chicken, so I'm sure fried chicken is good. Didn't one of us have lunch? I think I might have had a sandwich. But the banana bread French toast is a religious experience. He's never had it, but holy moly. Anyway,
And the grounds are cute. The shop is nice.
it's adorable.
It's all well themed.
And I'm not an emotional person at all, like about that kind of stuff, right? Like I don't like cry to sunset,
Hard
that
as a
kind
rock.
of. Yeah, you know what I mean, though. Except the castle will sometimes tear me up if it's been a while, and happily ever after, tears streaming down my face during that one for some reason, which I can't really explain. But when I took my sister over to Old Key West just to show her this resort that we had stayed at, I had to really fight to not have tears when we first got out, because it felt like home to me. At the time, it was the only deluxe we had stayed at. And yeah, and so that's why it's number 1 for me instead of number 2, solely because of that feeling. Because it's the first deluxe resort. It's the first resort where they said welcome home to us when we got there, because it's a DVC resort.
Yeah.
It was that first experience for us. So, yeah. All right, and then the Boardwalk, which was your number 1 and my number 2. You
Location. I mean,
yeah.
you can walk to Epcot. You can walk to Hollywood Studios.
Mm-hmm.
We've always loved to visit it. We were told about it long before we went to Disney because of the Boardwalk. I mean, there's not going on now, COVID.
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. Everything's different. But normally, there's activity, there's jugglers or performers out at the Boardwalk.
My sister and her family, they don't typically do the parks and stuff. They're not as big of Disney fans as we are, and it's expensive. They're a family of 5, so it's expensive. But they've been going to the Boardwalk. I mean, since before they had kids.
Yeah.
They were going to the Boardwalk and telling us about it.
Just to go, yeah. I mean, there's snack places there. There's quite a few sit-down restaurants. And they're all pretty good. Yeah, the lake is gorgeous. You're looking across at the Yacht and Beach Club.
And when you are doing the parks, that's proximity to Hollywood Studios and Epcot.
Yeah.
We did the.
You can walk there or boat there.
Yep.
And then the buses are. We had a little, but this was during COVID. Normally, there's not a lot of people taking buses at the deluxes.
We had a rant about the buses on our last trip.
Yeah, we don't want
The
to get into
buses
that.
are not a good situation right now, but I really want to believe that it's solely because things are different because of COVID.
Yeah.
We'll see once the dust settles if they're still as bad.
So the whole resort, I like that it's all inside.
Yeah, this was the
You can go
first time
inside.
we'd stayed at
the
a
only
resort.
downfall is the food. You had to go out,
Yes.
and there's no there's the bakery, Boardwalk Bakery, but other than that, there's no like quick service.
You will be attacked by birds if you eat at the Boardwalk Bakery, just FYI.
The pizza window is fantastic.
So good.
So that's good.
Best pizza.
That's a big positive.
Yep.
But yeah, otherwise it's all inside, and our room was nice. It's a little older.
It was dated. Yeah, it was dated, but same style as Saratoga Springs.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was nice. It was big.
It's great.
The only thing that was not really as good was the bed, and it was because it's not a refurbed room. It's actually a pull-out couch, and it was not comfortable as a bed. But those should be slowly disappearing. I know some of the Boardwalk rooms are being refurbed right now, so yeah, it still was just a great room, and being able to walk out and see the Boardwalk in the morning was
that's fantastic.
Fantastic, yeah. So, all right.
All right.
Top 3 to go and visit.
You gonna start or me?
I'll start. My number 3. You know what? I'm just gonna say number 1 because I didn't rank these in order of best.
Okay.
I just picked 3.
Okay.
So, first one is Wilderness Lodge.
That's on my list too.
Okay. I am absolutely in love with the Wilderness Lodge. We've talked about this before. It's supposed to be the Northwest, right? Pacific Northwest, but it's very Minnesota also. Minnesota Northwoods, Duluth. Very, very similar. We love Geyser Point. We talked about this in our food video. It's like one of our favorite like quick bite places. I
also liked, we had a good experience. Was it Roaring Fork? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Roaring Fork.
It was pouring rain, and we were sitting outside underneath the
right in front of the resort.
Right in it's in the back, but
it is in the back. It's out the back door. Yeah,
out the back.
Sorry, but out by the pool.
Yeah, but yeah, that was
Roaring
great.
Fork is their inside little quick service grab and go
place. That's a nice little place.
They also have the Whispering Canyon, which we've never eaten at, but it looks very nice. Yeah, the store is great.
I mean, they have an amazing lobby. That's huge.
Fantastic. We also had a fun experience there one time where we were sitting on the couches in there, and a guy came up and he was going to give a DVC tour to this family, and there was only like 2 of them, and he was like, yeah, you can come with if you want.
Tag along. So we got to look at
We got to go on a DVC tour of the big cabins, the Copper Creek, the massive cabin.
Yeah.
So that was really fun.
And it's a boat ride from Magic Kingdom.
Yep.
So you can, if you're hot during the middle of the day, you can go over there and relax a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, so totally love that.
Yep.
All right. Then I also put the Yacht Club.
That's on mine too.
I figured that was on yours too. The smell in the lobby is amazing. The decor.
Yeah.
Really weird for us
because when we first thought about going over there with that, yacht
we
club,
were not in a nautical yacht. That was never our thing.
When we got over there, we love it.
And if you guys could see the number of anchor themed things that are in this house
just
now,
because of the yacht club.
Yeah, but I love the smell of the lobby. I love the decor. It's gorgeous. We liked the Ale and Compass Lounge. We liked the restaurant too.
Yeah, I went to the restaurant.
But the lounge was really fun.
They have a nice little marketplace.
Yeah, really cute little. Yep. And you know, we also have a new obsession with Vineyard Vines, which they also sell a lot of in their store. A lot of Vineyard Vines options in their store. Yeah, cute little place to eat. Good food too.
Yeah.
Yeah, we just love to sit in the lobby.
I don't know why we love it so much. Yeah.
And it's on the Boardwalk area. It's across from the Boardwalk. Yacht and Beach Club are across, but it's that whole location.
There's like
in that area.
A smaller lobby, but there's like a second floor.
Yeah.
And then you can go up to the top, and there's 2 chairs on this one side. You can sit up there all by yourself.
We've sat up there for like almost an hour one day, just watching.
Just get out of the way, and
it was great.
It's usually pretty quiet in the lobby.
One time
there was a business thing going on.
We walked in, and it was like, where are we? There was people every square foot, but it was some kind of convention.
I think normally that's why we like it too, because it's pretty quiet.
It's quiet.
Yeah.
It's mind-blowingly expensive to stay there, and it's not DVC. So, I mean, we're talking like $700 a night or something like that, so we'll probably never stay there, or if we do, it'll be a night or 2 on a special occasion. Yeah. I guess I would recommend DVC Point renting at the Beach Club, which is basically attached, which we're doing in January. And then you can just
walk
kind
over,
of pretend.
Because they're connected. And
pretend like you're staying.
So you have.
Okay. And the third one on my list is the Contemporary. Is yours different? He hasn't completely picked
I really
yet.
haven't.
He has the
Probably I would pick that.
Okay. Partly we've spent a lot of time at the Contemporary.
Yeah.
It was the first resort he wanted to go look at. So I didn't know I didn't know as much about the history of Disney World before we went. I went first because I went with my sister to the parks. We went to Animal Kingdom and Magic Kingdom, but we didn't do any of the resorts. We didn't know we could. You knew a little more. You knew like some history about Epcot, which I didn't. And then
just from growing up and seeing ads and seeing shows. And
that's
what you always saw was the monorail going through the Contemporary.
And I had never seen that.
They always showed that.
Yeah, I had no idea, so I don't know if I just didn't see those commercials or what. But so that was the first hotel, or I call them hotels. It's not Disney lingo. That was the first resort we went to. You wanted to go like right there, and it was the monorail running through it is so cool. Yeah. We love the shops.
Yeah.
There's 2 gift shops. There's the Fantasia one that's got the big Mickey head and he's wearing the cap and you go in and it's just like a little... What?
That's the way to explain it. Mickey's wearing a hat and you go...
It's just like a row,
just in the middle of
basically.
The area.
It's like a little tube, basically, shop. And then across from it is a much bigger, really nice shop. I wish I could remember the names, but they're the only shops in the Contemporary. In the back corner, there is a little, like, snack, drink...
Kind of for the DVC people.
Yeah, where you'd get that kind of stuff. Toiletries, that kind of stuff. Yeah. We got some pretzels there 2 trips ago, and they were disgusting.
Yeah.
If you see white-covered pretzels...
What were they called?
Candy-coated, they were called.
Something like that.
Mickey pretzels. They were atrocious. The chocolate-covered pretzels are amazing.
Yeah.
Don't get the white ones, because, no. And my apologies if you've had them and you love them. We thought they were atrocious. There's a cool little spot where you can sit, a few chairs where you're looking out the window, kind of on the back side.
Monorail come and go.
Yeah, you can watch that come and go. Really, really neat. We've eaten at Chef Mickey's once for breakfast. We will probably never go back because character meals aren't really our thing. But if you have kids or if you enjoy character meals, it was really fun.
Yeah.
The food was good. I don't know how that's all working with COVID, but eventually. The food was really good. It was your typical breakfast buffet food for Disney, but good food. The characters did a good job of reading the table.
Yeah.
They could tell we were just 2 adults and we only needed a second. So they stopped and took a picture and moved on. It was really nice. And it's a cool setup. We've also eaten in the Contempo Cafe, which is the quick service right outside of Chef Mickey's. Good food options. It's a nice open area. There's a little bar next to that called the Outer Rim where you can sit and look. It's just a bar, but you can sit and look outside on the lake.
Yep.
Or right outside the bar, there's just some tables that you could sit and look out on the lake.
It's just a cool atmosphere being in there because you can see all the rooms going up and
it's really a neat looking
monorail's driving through all the time, so you can watch that.
Yeah, it's a neat looking resort.
And we like the Wave, which is on the bottom.
The Wave, which we've heard some rumors that make us scared, but we're not going to talk about those because we're hoping they're just rumors.
So that's a good restaurant.
Yeah, and again, we've only eaten breakfast there.
Side. Yep.
Much cheaper than other places. And their breakfast, again, not right now, COVID caveat on everything, but their breakfast normally is a buffet where you can't see the buffet. You go behind a wall. Yeah, you just have to feel for your food. No.
Yeah. It smells like sausage. I'll have one of those. Oh, shoot. That's wrong.
Okay, what I mean is there's a wall and you go behind it to get your... Which kind of makes the look of the restaurant a little bit less Old Country Buffet, Golden Corral looking, kind of. It's a nice place. So we've eaten there several times for breakfast. We've never done any other meal there, but I've heard nothing but good things. Yeah. The lobby is very plain and relatively small.
Yeah.
But it's comfortable, it's fine. And then out the back of the resort, there's some fun little like Mickey shaped things to look at, but if you go all the way out, you can take a boat. First of all, there's a beautiful lake.
Yeah.
You can take a boat from there to Wilderness Lodge or Fort Wilderness. So, or Magic Kingdom, I think. Yeah.
Or otherwise, you can walk to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, you can walk to Magic Kingdom in about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Which is
fantastic.
It's amazing.
We've never gone to the California Grill, but...
Nope, we've never done that. We've never gone out up on the balcony. I mean, the walking to Magic Kingdom thing just reminds me, it's the only resort that is literally at one of the parks.
Steps away.
I guess that's not true. Epcot. The Epcot resorts are steps away.
Yeah, beach clubs.
Yeah, but for Magic Kingdom, it is...
Now you can walk from the Grand, though.
You can, but it's not, like, there. You know what I mean?
It's not close. It's a little ways.
Like, the Polynesian is at the TTC, basically.
Yeah.
You can walk to the TTC. But the Contemporary... So, when my sister and I first went to Magic Kingdom, we were a hot mess a few times on that trip. Because we didn't know what we were doing. Our husbands think we're crazy because of it. We were trying to find the ferry when we were walking out at night. Well, it was crowded. We weren't paying any attention. And before we knew it, we were looking at the Contemporary. We had walked almost all the way there. That's how close it is. In looking for the line for the ferry, we had accidentally walked almost the entire way to the Contemporary. Yeah. So, now if you've been there, you know that we had to be really tired, and we were not drinking, believe it or not. Because you would think maybe, probably. But we were talking, we were tired, we didn't know where we were going. But that's just an example of how close the Contemporary is to Magic Kingdom. Yeah. That you could almost accidentally walk there without realizing it. So, yeah. All right, so.
There you have it.
We ranked the places we've stayed at. So we would recommend all of these resorts. Yeah. So All-Star Movies, All-Star Music,
Disney.
Pop Century, Art of Animation, Old Key West, Saratoga Springs, and the Boardwalk. You get our seal of approval on all of those places. And we recommend you visit Wilderness Lodge, Yacht Club, and the Contemporary. Yeah. There's not, although I have heard some bad stories about All-Star Sports. But again,
I've heard bad stories about everybody and going to the parks and whatever.
You have, and I can't imagine it's that much different than the other All-Stars. The Movies has been refurbished. And Pop Century has been refurbished. Art of Animation is in the middle of a refurbish. So they're all going to be pretty darn nice within the next, little bit of time here. But yeah, bottom line is everybody has their own opinion on this, and we can't talk about staying off property because we've never done it. We're going to come as close as we ever have by staying in a Disney Springs hotel next week. But even that's still on property. But I guess I just want to, before I say what I'm about to say, I understand not everybody can do this. Maybe you can't afford it. Maybe you need to stay in, a very budget resort if you're going to be able to afford to go to Disney World. Completely understand. We've been there ourselves where we would have had to do that. You can still have an amazing Disney World experience without staying on property. But for those of you who it's not a financial reason, you're looking at it for other reasons, stay on property. Yeah. Don't you think? If finances are not the situation and you're just trying to decide where to stay, the benefits far outweigh anything else, don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
And even, I'm not even talking about the benefits and I don't know how much of this applies, COVID versus not COVID, all of that, a lot of it doesn't, but I'm not talking about Fast Pass or parking or any of those kind of benefits. Those are also benefits when that stuff's going on, but I'm just talking about you're in the bubble, which is so nice to not have to leave that. You have transportation options like crazy. Bus, boat, monorail, Skyliner, everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah,
I feel as a whole, if we would have started off property and done most of, I don't think we would have loved it quite as much.
I don't think so either.
We would have loved it, but
but it wouldn't have been
part of the experience for us anyway is getting in the bubble, staying there. We don't leave.
We don't
go to Target once maybe.
Yeah, we leave for necessities. We don't leave for fun.
Yeah,
we don't leave to go do other things.
So
that could change in the future. Obviously, I know sometimes people are there during hurricanes and things like that. Maybe if we were there during a really a blowout weather day or something, we would decide to go to the outlet mall.
Part of the reason we love it is because it's all enclosed, encompassing. You can do everything there and not have to go into real life.
Yeah,
necessarily.
Yeah,
I don't want to go fight traffic on the I-4 or whatever on my vacation.
No.
Trying to drive to the beach or something.
Nope, not
I just want to go there. It's like taking a cruise almost. Or
it is.
Mexico vacation where you're on.
Yep.
You can stay there and never leave.
Yep. That took a little veer from the resorts. Yeah. You can tell we're getting ready to go to Disney World, so we're thinking about it and we're excited. But anyway, this is Sunday when we're filming this. The video will go up on Wednesday. The day you are watching this video, if you're watching it the day it goes up, we are leaving that night to fly to Disney World.
Yay!
So there will be no video on Saturday. Probably no video the following Wednesday. But beginning the next Saturday, there will be Disney vlogs.
Ooh.
Super exciting. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Comment, let us know what your favorite resorts are. Or if you've had any really good or really bad experiences or anything like that. And we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.